Folks, welcome back. All right, we got an important one today. I have a few different topics to discuss. Some topics may be repetitive to what you've heard me talk about on other live streams or my own live streams, but I know the majority of people actually watch the video, so I wanted to make sure the info got to everybody. And I think a lot of this info is going to help you strategically navigate this market moving forward as the market shifts. I've talked about it before. When markets shift, you have to shift your way of thinking and the way you operate in it if you want to continue to be as successful and optimized as much as possible. And so let's get into it. So first and foremost, booster boxes. Guys, I hear what everyone's saying. I've been in the hobby 10 years. The hobby has been completely different for most all of those years. Things are changing. And I understand wanting to keep the old mindset because the people who have been in this hobby longer are actually having a much harder time coming to grips with this fact than newer people to the hobby because they don't know different. But you're going to have to change your way of thinking. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying that. I'm going to get a lot of criticism, right? You're shilling, you're creating FOMO. You need to be probably getting some of your positions at release on booster boxes. Pokemon Company has shown us all through the Scarlet Violet era, they are either not going to reprint booster boxes or they are going to reprint very few of them. And the majority of their reprints and restocks are going to be focused around booster bundles, collection boxes, Sam's Club and Costco drops, et cetera, et cetera. And so booster boxes, sealed cases, those are going to be a very scarce product. And that being said, it doesn't matter how much of the packs are printed, how cheap the cards get. If these stay that scarce, the prices will continue to rise, just like when the Surging Sparks and Twilight Masquerade ETB reprint came and the booster boxes went up because, surprise, surprise, no booster boxes again. That is one thing I am changing personally because I'm not going to miss out the way I did on Destined Rivals, right? Starting with Mega Evolutions, I am going to start putting a good size position away at release on every new set. If for some reason things shift again, I can always dollar cost average in. I can always adjust with the new sets going forward. If Pokemon shows us they're going to, change it up and do something different. Until then, I do think the highest probability play is getting a position in booster boxes at release. So that's the first major change I want to talk about. Second one is you have to stop thinking the grass is always greener. You have to stop thinking there's always going to be another deal in the future, right? Every time I see these reprints and restocks hit, everyone always has that I'm going to wait mindset. Alex, it's going to drop further. Just wait till the product works its way through the system. Just wait till the stuff gets open. The cards are going to fall. They're not. In this market, they are not. And so when you see these reprints and restocks hit, you need to grab it. That is your opportunity. The opportunity is not forthcoming. It's right then and there. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it in every video. Prismatic Evolutions, the time is right now. This is it. You are in the time of accumulation on Prismatic Evolutions. If you're not doing so, that's fine. If you disagree, that's fine. I think you're going to be upset, but right now, when we are getting the most amount of product that we're probably ever going to see dropped from Prismatic, and the prices are this low, that is the time you want to be scooping things up like that. When they dropped all the 151 product, they dropped the UPCs, the booster bundles, the Alakazam and Zapdos collection boxes, everything under the sun, and the prices were low, that was the time to scoop it up. Not saying, oh, well, Alex, it's only X amount of months old. That is irrelevant. The age is irrelevant. The price point is what is relevant. Right? Understanding when the majority of the sealed product is all dumped, that is the time. When it is the most plentiful is the time you want to pick it up. Again, even if somehow you're wrong, we get another decent size reprint later on, you can always dollar cost average in, or worst case scenario, it may not even drop to the old lows of what they were when the product was this cheap. So again, Prismatic's just one of the examples. When you see things happen like that, take advantage. If you see Destined Rivals get a restock and things drop whatever they drop, 10, 20, 30%, that is the buying opportunity. Not this fantasy day in the future when everything's going to crash and you're going to be able to pick everything up for pennies on the dollar. It's not happening, right? I've seen people wait on a lot of singles and slabs and they just keep saying, I don't get it. Alex, it just goes higher and higher and higher. At this point, even if it crashes 20, 30, 40%, it's still going to be more than what I could have paid for it when I started waiting. Exactly. Waiting is honestly, it's to a fault at this point. It's to a fault. Honestly, if you were to like probably buy every single thing you're thinking about, odds are in 6 months, a year, you're probably going to be up on all of it. Even the few things that you're not up on, the ones that you did end up buying, the gains are going to outproduce any stagnation or losses you saw in the other few items. That's the market we're in. And you can either get upset about it, you can either sit on the sidelines, or you can get in the game. And to get in the game, again, those are the two things. Booster boxes at release, and anytime there are restocks, reprints, price drops, those are opportunities. The last thing I want to talk about is being careful when buying. All right, I just talked about when to buy, but be careful when you see these massive buyouts, price spikes on singles and on slabs, sometimes on sealed products. Sealed products a little different because it is always more scarce. There's always less and less of it, where there's always more and more singles and slabs. There's more cards graded every day. There's more cards opened every day, which means there's less sealed product every day. So sealed product is a little less risky, but with the singles and slabs, more so for people buying on the open market, for vendors, for card shops, anyone out there like that, be very careful of going about the old process of price comparing on whatever app you use, whether it be TCG Player, eBay, Alt, Collector app, it doesn't matter. There's very easy ways to manipulate the price on those, right? If you can buy out a certain amount of a card or a slab, run the price up, show a few different sales at the new price point. So for example, you can buy out an Umbreon VMAX from $1,400 all the way up to $3,000, right? You can show a few sales at $3,000. Well, then you take it to a card shop or you take it to a vendor and they say, oh, the last few sales look like they average around $2,800 to $3,000. I can give you, 80%. And you sell it for 80%. And then what happens is a few days later, everyone realizes the card's been bought out. They want to try to cash in. The price competition starts going down, 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 and down. And now all of a sudden, you're left with a card that you're upside down on that quick. And we're going to continue to see that more and more as more people take advantage of the inefficiencies of this market, because they're playing with the recent solds of these platforms and how the data is accumulated by these apps. And so in this kind of market, if you are taking in high flyer cards and slabs, I suggest go back weeks, if not a month, and see kind of the average of what the card was selling for and make a fair offer based on that. And if the people selling it don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to buy it. They don't have to sell it to you. They can go try to get offload it to somebody else, but at least it'll protect you from getting caught on something after something just spiked. And so this goes for regular buyers too. If you've been watching a card, you've been watching a slab, you really want to, get into it, you finally have the money, whatever it may be, you're making a trade, make sure that you're valuing it properly. And again, some of these prices may hold, right? Maybe a card does spike from $100 to $200 and it holds. And, a month later, there's going to be 20 confirmed sales at 200 and it's staying there. That's a possibility, right? And that's different. But I would definitely be cautious on a lot of these big spikes and then making trades or making purchases based on the new established price point when it likely won't hold and you could get in some trouble. So those are like three of the things I really wanted to cover in this video, because it's three of the things that I see people kind of falling into traps on. Obviously, the buying too high with all the crazy price spikes is a huge trap. But the trap of not buying these products when they go through these reprints or restocks, or even rumors of reprints and restocks. Paldea Evolve, perfect example. Paldea Evolve, high 300s, right? Dropped all the way to the low 300s off a rumor put out by a Discord group, right? And everyone was selling. Nobody wanted to buy it. Everyone was scared. And now it's almost a $500 box, right? There prismatic evolutions right now. I talked about it. 151 happened. There will be sets that get reprints and restocks. They will happen, guys. When that happens, don't fool yourself into thinking, this is it. This is the big one. It's going to crash. I'm not going to touch any of this stuff. No, that's the opportunity. When it happens, that is the time to strike. I'm telling you right now. And then the last thing is the booster boxes, guys. I don't know how heavy you want to go, but I would definitely suggest getting a position in booster boxes at release, because seeing from what Pokemon's told us, they're not reprinting them. When they do, they're not many. Looking at Destin Rivals, looking at Omega, looking at Phantasmal Flames, it may make sense to have some. So that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it helps. Be back in a new one soon. We're out.